Have you ever dropped a handful of pennies onto the kitchen table without giving them a second thought? Imagine if one of those ordinary-looking coins could completely change the course of your financial future. It sounds unbelievable, but history has proven that tiny details on everyday coins have created astonishing fortunes. That's exactly why the 1978 Lincoln 1-cent penny with no mint mark has become one of the most talked about coins among collectors searching for hidden treasures. Before you spend another penny, you may want to look a little closer, because what appears ordinary today could become tomorrow's headline-making discovery. The 1978 Lincoln cent was struck during an era when billions of pennies entered circulation across America. Most were used to buy candy, newspapers, and cups of coffee. Decades later, many of those same coins have disappeared into jars, dresser drawers, and forgotten collections. Yet a select few have captured extraordinary attention because of their remarkable condition, unusual minting characteristics, and incredibly rare production errors. Now here's where the story becomes fascinating. A 1978 penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, where coins of that year normally carried no mint mark at all. That alone does not make every example valuable. The true excitement begins when experienced collectors discover exceptional pieces with striking errors or pristine preservation. Dramatic off-center strikes, double die varieties, broad strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and spectacular examples graded at the highest levels can command astonishing prices in the marketplace. But don't stop listening yet. What if the penny sitting in your change jar has something unusual hiding in plain sight? Could tiny doubling on the lettering or an incredibly sharp strike separate it from millions of others? It's happened before, and collectors continue searching because remarkable discoveries never completely stop. Here's something worth remembering. The difference between a common penny and an extraordinary one often comes down to details smaller than the width of a human hair. That's why professional grading plays such an important role. Surface quality, original luster, flawless preservation, and authentic mint errors can dramatically increase collector demand. Now picture this. You're cleaning out an old family home. You discover a dusty coffee can filled with pennies collected decades ago. Most people would haul them straight to the bank. But what if one coin inside that forgotten container turns out to be the rarest piece of the entire collection? Suddenly, a routine afternoon becomes the beginning of an unforgettable story. And here's a question that might surprise you. When was the last time you actually looked at the pennies in your pocket? Be honest. Most of us spend more time deciding what to watch on television than examining money that passes through our hands every single day. Some exceptional 1978 Lincoln cents displaying extraordinary rarity, elite certification, or highly desirable minting errors have attracted enormous attention from serious collectors, with exceptional examples sometimes discussed alongside six-figure and even headline-grabbing valuations approaching an astonishing $978,000 in the rare coin market. Those prices represent extraordinary cases rather than ordinary circulation coins, but they remind collectors why careful examination is always worthwhile. That possibility creates both excitement and urgency. Every day, valuable coins are accidentally spent, rolled into bank deposits, or overlooked because their owners never realized what they had. Once they're gone, the opportunity may disappear forever. So before you cash in that jar of loose change, slow down. Hold each 1978 Lincoln penny under a bright light. Examine the date, the lettering, the surfaces, and every tiny detail. A simple magnifying glass could reveal something extraordinary hiding in plain sight. The next remarkable coin discovery may not come from a famous auction or a wealthy collector. It could come from an ordinary American opening a forgotten piggy bank, cleaning out an old drawer, or emptying the cup holder in a family car. Sometimes the greatest treasures aren't buried underground. Sometimes they've been riding in your pocket all along, quietly waiting for someone curious enough to notice. Have you ever reached into your pocket, pulled out an ordinary-looking penny, and wondered if you were holding a small fortune without even knowing it? It sounds unbelievable, but that simple thought has changed lives before. Among the countless Lincoln cents still circulating across America, one coin continues to spark incredible excitement among collectors, the 1988 Lincoln 1 cent with no mint mark. Most people spend it without a second glance. A few pause long enough to inspect it. And an even smaller number discover that what appears to be an ordinary penny may actually be a remarkable collectible with astonishing value. The truth is that not every 1988 no mint mark Lincoln cent is rare. Millions were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, where no mint mark was standard. But hidden among those ordinary coins are a handful of extraordinary examples. Coins struck with dramatic die errors, double details, die varieties, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, or exceptional mint condition can command breathtaking prices whenever serious collectors compete for ownership. Now imagine this. You receive a handful of change after buying a cup of coffee. One penny catches your eye because the lettering looks unusually sharp, or perhaps Lincoln's portrait appears slightly different. Most people would toss it into a jar without another thought. But what if that tiny difference separated a 1-cent coin from one worth thousands, or in the most extraordinary collecting stories, approaching an incredible market value discussed at nearly $988,000 for an exceptionally rare, unique, and highly desirable example with extraordinary characteristics? Before you dismiss that possibility, ask yourself one question. When was the last time you actually looked at the pennies in your home? That simple question has inspired thousands of treasure hunters across America. Collectors know that rarity is rarely obvious. Sometimes the smallest details create the biggest rewards. A slight doubling in the lettering. An unusual strike. Brilliant original luster. Nearly flawless surfaces preserved for decades. These characteristics transform an everyday coin into an object collectors eagerly pursue. Here's the funny part. We carefully inspect our smartphones for tiny scratches but throw handfuls of pennies into drawers without looking at them. Isn't that backwards? As demand for rare Lincoln cents continues to grow, high-grade certified examples have become increasingly difficult to locate. Every year, more coins become damaged through circulation, cleaning, or improper storage. That means surviving premium examples naturally become even more desirable. And this is where the story becomes even more fascinating. Many valuable discoveries don't happen in museums or expensive auctions. They happen in kitchen drawers, forgotten piggy banks, inherited collections, old coffee cans, and dusty boxes sitting in garages for decades. Families unknowingly pass these collections from one generation to another, unaware that hidden among ordinary coins could be something truly exceptional. Imagine opening an old coin album inherited from a grandparent. You notice a bright 1988 Lincoln cent without a mint mark resting quietly between common dates. At first glance, nothing seems unusual. But after careful examination by an experienced grading service, unexpected details begin to emerge. Suddenly, what looked ordinary becomes the centerpiece of an extraordinary story. That's why patience matters. Never rush to spend older coins simply because they appear common. Examine the date carefully. Study the surfaces under good lighting. Look for unusual doubling, striking errors, missing details, or exceptional preservation. If something stands out, professional authentication can make all the difference. History has repeatedly shown that overlooked collectibles often become tomorrow's prized treasures. The collectors who succeed are rarely the luckiest. They're the ones willing to slow down, pay attention, and recognize opportunities hiding in plain sight. So before you spend another penny without looking, remember this. Somewhere in America today, someone is unknowingly carrying a coin that another collector has been searching for during years of careful hunting. The next incredible discovery may not come from an expensive auction or a famous collection. It could be waiting inside your own pocket, quietly proving that extraordinary wealth sometimes begins with the smallest piece of change. Have you checked the loose change sitting in your kitchen drawer lately? Because one ordinary-looking 1991 Lincoln penny without a mint mark could be hiding a story that surprises even experienced collectors. Most people see a single cent and never think twice. They spend it, drop it into a jar, or leave it forgotten in a cup holder. But collectors know that the smallest details can separate an everyday coin from one that becomes the centerpiece of a high-profile auction. Before you assume your penny is just another coin, stay with me, because the difference between common and extraordinary can be measured in tiny details almost invisible to the naked eye. The 1991 Lincoln 1 cent was struck in enormous numbers, and when no mint mark appears beneath the date, it simply means the coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. That alone does not make it rare. However, the collecting world has always rewarded exceptional examples, dramatic minting errors, and coins preserved in remarkable condition. Those are the pieces that capture headlines and ignite bidding wars among determined collectors. Now imagine opening an old coffee can filled with pennies collected decades ago. At first glance, they all look the same. Then one coin catches your eye. The surfaces appear unusually sharp. The lettering is crisp. Lincoln's portrait seems almost untouched by time. Suddenly, an ordinary afternoon turns into a treasure hunt. Here's the twist. Some of the most valuable Lincoln cents are not famous because of their date alone. They become desirable because of striking errors, double design elements, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, or exceptionally preserved mint state surfaces. Even subtle differences can dramatically influence collector demand. But don't rush to celebrate just yet. What if you've been carrying one in your pocket for years without realizing it? Or even worse, what if you already spent it? That thought alone keeps many collectors searching through jars, albums, and inherited collections. The fear of overlooking something valuable is powerful, and it's exactly why interest in Lincoln cents continues to grow year after year. Here's a question. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny instead of simply spending it? Funny, isn't it? We inspect avocados more carefully than coins that could become collectible. The smartest collectors never assume. They examine every detail under proper lighting using magnification. They look for clean edges, original color, sharp lettering, and unusual characteristics that separate one coin from millions of others. Patience often rewards the people willing to slow down while everyone else rushes past hidden opportunities. As excitement builds, reality becomes even more fascinating. Headlines sometimes spotlight extraordinary Lincoln cents selling for astonishing amounts, but those prices are typically achieved only by exceptionally rare error coins or specimens with outstanding certified grades. A typical 1991 Philadelphia penny without significant errors is usually worth only face value or a modest premium depending on its condition. The real opportunity lies in identifying the rare exceptions that collectors actively compete to own. That's why knowledge is every collector's greatest investment. Learning how to recognize authentic mint errors, understanding professional grading, and preserving coins correctly can make all the difference if you ever discover something unusual. Somewhere across America today, someone will unknowingly spend a collectible coin. Someone else will carefully examine the same date, recognize an important detail, and preserve a piece of history instead. Which person would you rather be? The next time a handful of pennies lands in your palm, don't see 1 cent. See possibility. Look closely. Study every detail. Because remarkable discoveries rarely announce themselves. They hide in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to notice what everyone else overlooked. And perhaps the next unforgettable coin story will begin with a simple 1991 Lincoln penny resting quietly in your own collection. Have you ever wondered if the next time you reach into your pocket for a single penny, you could be holding a coin that changes your financial future forever? It sounds unbelievable, yet stories of ordinary Americans discovering extraordinary treasures in everyday change continue to capture the attention of collectors across the country. Among the coins creating the biggest buzz is the 1992 D Lincoln 1 cent penny. At first glance, it looks like just another copper-colored coin that millions of people have ignored for decades. But hidden among countless ordinary examples are incredibly rare varieties that have stunned the collecting world. Some exceptional specimens with the right characteristics have inspired fierce bidding, turning a 1-cent coin into an object worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, with extraordinary claims sometimes reaching as high as $992,000 for unique, elite examples under exceptional circumstances. That possibility is exactly why experienced collectors never dismiss a penny without taking a closer look. The 1992 D. Lincoln cent was struck at the Denver Mint during a period when billions of pennies entered circulation. Most are worth exactly 1 cent. That is what makes the rare exceptions so fascinating. Imagine millions of nearly identical coins traveling through cash registers, piggy banks, and old coffee cans for decades while only a tiny handful possessed the subtle details collectors dream of finding. Now here's the question that could change everything. What if one of those rare coins has been sitting inside your home this entire time? The excitement surrounding the 1992 D. Lincoln penny comes from specific varieties and striking characteristics that separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. Sharp details, exceptional preservation, unusual minting errors, and the famous close AM reverse variety have become some of the most closely watched features. These tiny differences can mean the gap between spending a penny on nothing at all and discovering a coin that collectors desperately want to own. Think about that for a second. One tiny design difference. One moment of inspection. One life-changing discovery. Sounds almost unfair, doesn't it? Yet that is exactly how the rare coin market works. As demand for scarce Lincoln cents continues to grow, serious collectors compete for the finest examples available. Every year, more people begin searching through inherited collections, forgotten jars, estate sales, and old bank rolls. Unfortunately, many valuable coins are unknowingly spent because their owners never realized what they had. That may be the biggest mistake anyone can make in the world of coin collecting. Imagine finding an old penny, tossing it into a vending machine, and years later discovering it could have been worth a fortune. Nobody wants to be that story. This is why patience matters. Good lighting matters. Magnification matters. Knowledge matters even more. The fascinating part is that valuable coins rarely announce themselves. They don't sparkle brighter. They don't feel heavier in your hand. They simply wait for someone observant enough to notice the details everyone else overlooked. That is where opportunity quietly hides. And opportunity often rewards those who keep looking after everyone else has stopped. Before you dismiss another penny as worthless, remember that history has repeatedly surprised collectors. Hidden treasures have appeared inside family albums, dusty boxes in attics, forgotten drawers, and even pocket change received during an ordinary afternoon. Every remarkable discovery began with someone deciding to look just one more time. So the next time you receive a handful of change, don't rush to spend it. Slow down. Examine every date. Study every mint mark. Compare every design detail. That simple habit could separate you from millions of people who never realize what passes through their hands every single day. Because somewhere, perhaps much closer than you think, another remarkable 1992 D. Lincoln penny may still be waiting for the right person to discover its true story. And the most incredible part? That person could be you. Have you ever tossed a penny into a jar without a second thought? What if one of those ordinary-looking coins could change the course of your financial future? Somewhere in America, hidden in old coffee cans, dresser drawers, forgotten piggy banks, and family coin collections, there may still be a 1993 D. Lincoln 1-cent penny waiting to surprise its owner. Most people would never imagine that a single cent could become the centerpiece of an auction that attracts serious collectors willing to spend extraordinary amounts of money. But the world of rare coins has always rewarded those who look closer instead of walking away. The 1993 D. Lincoln cent was struck at the Denver Mint during a year when billions of pennies entered circulation. At first glance, every coin appears nearly identical. Abraham Lincoln stands proudly on the front while the Lincoln Memorial appears on the reverse. Nothing seems unusual. Nothing seems valuable. That is exactly why remarkable discoveries continue to happen. Rare treasures often hide in plain sight. Now comes the fascinating part. Not every 1993D penny is valuable, but certain examples with exceptional preservation or rare minting errors have captured the attention of elite collectors. Coins displaying dramatic off-center strikes, doubled dies, die cracks, broad strikes, clipped planchets, or other significant mint errors can become highly desirable. The rarer the error and the better the condition, the greater the collector interest becomes. Imagine sorting through an old box of change while watching television. You almost skip over another brown penny until something catches your eye. Maybe the lettering looks doubled. Maybe the strike seems unusual. Maybe the surfaces still shine with nearly flawless mint luster. Suddenly that ordinary evening becomes unforgettable. Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? Yet stories like these are exactly what keeps collectors searching every single day. Here's where things become even more exciting. The finest certified examples of rare Lincoln cents have achieved astonishing auction results, especially when extraordinary minting errors combine with outstanding condition. Rumors and sensational claims often circulate online about values approaching hundreds of thousands or even nearly $1 million for exceptionally rare coins. While such prices represent extraordinary exceptions rather than ordinary market values, they remind collectors of one important truth. The next incredible discovery could still be waiting in circulation or resting quietly inside a forgotten collection. That possibility creates something powerful. Hope. But hope alone isn't enough. Millions of pennies disappear into circulation every year because their owners never learned what to examine. Valuable coins have been spent on snacks, dropped into vending machines, or rolled into bank deposits simply because no one recognized the tiny details separating common coins from extraordinary ones. Don't let that happen to you. Take your time examining every 1993D penny you own. Look carefully under good lighting. Use a magnifying glass if possible. Inspect the mint mark, the lettering, Lincoln's portrait, and every design detail. Even subtle differences could deserve a second look from a professional grading service. Let me ask you something. If someone handed you a lottery ticket with a chance of changing your future, would you throw it away without checking the numbers? Of course not. So why ignore a coin that could be worth far more than 1 cent? The search itself becomes part of the adventure. Every handful of change carries mystery. Every estate sale, garage sale, inherited collection, or forgotten coin album could reveal a remarkable surprise. Most searches end with ordinary pennies, but every experienced collector understands that extraordinary discoveries only happen because someone kept looking when everyone else stopped. And that may be the greatest lesson of all. Fortunes are rarely found by accident alone. They're found by curious people willing to slow down, learn the details, and recognize opportunities hidden in everyday life. Your next penny could simply be another cent. Or it could become the conversation piece that transforms an ordinary collection into something truly unforgettable. Before you spend another 1993D Lincoln cent, take one more careful look. That tiny piece of copper may be holding a story, and perhaps a value, that far exceeds anything you ever imagined. Have you ever tossed a penny into a jar without a second thought? What if one of those ordinary copper-colored coins was quietly hiding a story worth far more than its face value? Somewhere in America, a 1994 Lincoln 1-cent penny with no mint mark could still be sitting inside a forgotten coin collection, an old coffee can, or even mixed into your loose change. Most people never look twice. Collectors do. And sometimes, that simple habit makes all the difference. The 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln cent was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, where pennies traditionally carried no mint mark. Millions were produced, which makes this coin seem incredibly common at first glance. But the world of coin collecting has never rewarded ordinary examples. It rewards the extraordinary few that escaped the mint with unusual characteristics, exceptional preservation, or dramatic production errors. Now here's where things become interesting. Imagine two identical-looking pennies. One buys absolutely nothing. The other attracts fierce competition from collectors willing to spend astonishing amounts of money. The difference often comes down to details so small they can be missed without careful inspection. Before you dismiss the pennies sitting in your drawer, ask yourself one question. When was the last time you actually looked at them? Some of the most desirable 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln cents feature striking mint errors. Collectors search for strong off-center strikes, broad strikes, dramatic die cracks, double design elements, die clashes, and rare planchet mistakes. Even subtle doubling in Lincoln's portrait or the lettering can send experienced collectors reaching for their magnifying glasses. And here's the funny part. Most people spend more time reading the ingredients on a cereal box than examining a coin that could potentially change their financial future. Condition is another game changer. A heavily circulated penny may only be worth face value. But a flawless example showing brilliant original mint luster, razor-sharp details, and virtually no signs of wear enters an entirely different league. High-grade coins certified by professional grading services have repeatedly commanded remarkable prices because true perfection is incredibly rare. As collector demand continues to grow, exceptional examples become harder to find. Every year, more coins are damaged, cleaned improperly, scratched, or simply disappear from the marketplace. That shrinking supply creates growing competition among serious collectors searching for the finest surviving pieces. Now imagine discovering that your ordinary-looking penny has characteristics matching one of those sought-after rarities. Your heart would probably beat a little faster. But don't rush. Cleaning an old coin is one of the biggest mistakes people make. A polished surface may look shiny, but to experienced collectors it often destroys originality and can dramatically reduce value. The safest approach is to leave the coin exactly as you found it until it can be properly evaluated. Stories of remarkable discoveries continue to inspire collectors across the country. Family inheritance boxes, forgotten piggy banks, estate sales, and dusty desk drawers have all produced valuable coins that nobody expected to find. That's what makes coin collecting so addictive. Every search carries the possibility, however small, of uncovering something extraordinary. You'll often hear headlines claiming certain 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln cents are worth nearly $1 million, with figures approaching $994,000 or even more. In reality, values at that level would require an exceptionally rare combination of factors, such as an extraordinary mint error, elite certified condition, and intense competition between determined buyers at auction. Most examples are worth far less, but the rarest pieces can sell for dramatically higher prices than ordinary pennies. That's why knowledge becomes your greatest investment. The next time you receive change at the grocery store, clean out your car, or open that forgotten coin jar, don't see pennies. See possibilities. History has a remarkable way of hiding treasure in plain sight, rewarding those patient enough to recognize it before everyone else does. Because the most valuable coin you'll ever discover probably won't announce itself. It will simply wait, quietly, until someone finally takes the time to look. Have you checked the pennies hiding in your pocket lately? Most people spend them without a second thought. But every now and then, an ordinary-looking Lincoln cent surprises the entire collecting world. The 2006 Lincoln 1 cent struck at the Denver Mint is one of those coins that has sparked countless searches through old jars, forgotten piggy banks, and dusty coin collections. While the overwhelming majority are worth only a single cent, a tiny number with extraordinary characteristics have captured the attention of serious collectors, with the finest examples and dramatic mint errors selling for astonishing prices. Before you dismiss the next penny you find, remember this. The difference between an ordinary coin and an extraordinary one can be almost invisible. The story begins in 2006, when billions of Lincoln cents rolled off America's presses. They looked identical to millions already in circulation, making them easy to overlook. Families dropped them into tip jars. Children spent them on candy. Collectors tucked away rolls, hoping time would reveal hidden treasures. Years later, some of those hopes became reality. So what separates one 2006 penny from another? That's where the hunt becomes exciting. Professional collectors carefully inspect every detail, searching for rare mint errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, broad strikes, or dramatic misalignments. These unusual mistakes occurred during the minting process, transforming everyday coins into fascinating collectibles. Even a tiny error can send experienced numismatists scrambling for a closer look. Here's something that surprises many people. Condition often matters just as much as rarity. A flawless coin that somehow escaped circulation can command dramatically higher prices than a worn example with the same date and mint mark. Collectors compete fiercely for coins graded at the highest mint state levels because pristine survivors become increasingly scarce every year. Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at both sides of a penny before spending it? Most of us don't. That's exactly why hidden treasures continue slipping through everyday hands. It's a little funny, isn't it? We inspect our smartphones every 5 minutes but barely glance at the coins sitting in our cup holders. As demand for exceptional Lincoln cents continues to grow, competition among collectors has intensified. Auction houses have witnessed remarkable bidding wars whenever spectacular error coins or nearly perfect examples appear. These headline-grabbing sales inspire thousands of people to search their own collections, hoping to uncover the next remarkable discovery. But don't rush just yet. Here's the twist that catches many beginners by surprise. Not every unusual-looking coin is valuable. Damage from circulation, environmental exposure, or machine counting can easily be mistaken for genuine mint errors. Learning the difference is one of the most important skills any collector can develop. Patience often separates successful treasure hunters from disappointed dreamers. Imagine opening an old family coin jar that has been sitting untouched for 20 years. Inside are hundreds of ordinary pennies. Then one catches your eye. The color looks unusually bright. The strike appears incredibly sharp. The Denver mint mark is perfectly defined. Suddenly, what seemed like loose change becomes something worth investigating. Moments like that are what keep collectors searching year after year. Could a remarkable 2060 Lincoln cent be worth life-changing money? Only the rarest examples with exceptional preservation or significant authenticated mint errors have the potential to command extraordinary prices, and every valuable coin must be carefully verified by respected grading professionals before any claims about its value can be trusted. Authentication is what transforms curiosity into confidence. The greatest lesson isn't simply about one penny. It's about opportunity hiding in plain sight. Every coin tells a story, and every collection holds possibilities waiting to be discovered. The next time a handful of change lands in your palm, don't be so quick to spend it. Take a closer look. That ordinary-looking Lincoln cent could become the beginning of an unforgettable journey into one of America's most fascinating treasure hunts, and the discovery that everyone else overlooked might be waiting for you right now.